I just arrived in the world of a book. My fiancée slid a share transfer agreement across the desk toward me. My head was still spinning, but then lines of text, like live commentary, began scrolling across my vision. Come on, protagonist, sign it. The only way the female lead will wake up is if you give her everything and then kill yourself by jumping off a building. This is it, the male lead's most devoted moment. I can't wait to see the female lead have her great awakening and brutally destroy that manipulative pretty boy. What are you waiting for, protagonist? Reading these insane comments, I ripped the share transfer agreement to shreds. Then I slapped the female lead across the face. To hell with this angst-ridden tragedy. You want to sacrifice me? I'll destroy you two first. I had transmigrated, becoming the male lead in a novel defined by its protagonist's death. In the story, the male lead was the CEO of a publicly traded company. He fell for the female lead at first sight, promoting her from a junior employee all the way to vice president. Everyone in the company knew he was the ultimate simp. The VP was the one who really called the shots. But just 1 month before their wedding, the female lead got involved with a young male intern at the company. Against the protagonist's wishes, she promoted the intern to be her personal assistant. She embezzled company funds to buy him matching designer watches and a luxury car worth $1 million. When the intern got sick, she stayed by his side at the hospital all night. A woman who had never once cooked for her own fiancé was now personally brewing medicinal herbs and making soup for him. After the intern recovered, he swaggered into the protagonist's office to provoke him. Just before the female lead walked in, he slapped his own face and accused the protagonist of hitting him. The female lead exploded with rage. She gave the protagonist 2 choices: either kneel and apologize to the intern or sign over his company shares to her as a show of his innocence. Otherwise, the wedding was off. The original protagonist refused to apologize and chose the latter. 2 months later, the female lead and her intern assistant held a lavish wedding. But the intern's childhood sweetheart crashed the event, pregnant and furious. She pointed at the female lead, screaming that she was a homewrecker. Only then did the female lead see the intern's true colors and finally realize that the protagonist, who had given everything for her, was the one who truly loved her. She fled the hotel in a panic to find him, but it was too late. The protagonist, utterly heartbroken, had jumped from the roof of that very hotel. He died right in front of her. Devastated, the female lead's personality twisted into something dark. She tortured the intern to death and eventually went insane herself. And that was the grand finale. As I was recalling the plot, the live commentary began to scroll again. This is it, the male lead's most devoted moment. Sign it, protagonist. Only by giving everything and then jumping to your death will she finally wake up. Exactly. If you don't sacrifice at all, how will she remember your goodness and feel regret later? I can't wait to see her epiphany and the brutal revenge arc. What are you waiting for? I'll bet you $1 he signs. He's such a simp he'd die for her, let alone just sign away some shares. Noticing my daze, Serafina's other assistant, a woman, spoke up with a slight frown. Mr. Blackwood, please don't take this the wrong way, but I have to say something. Vice President Vance is already exhausted from managing the company for you. So what if she's a little close to Leo? It's all for work. But you had to pick a fight with him and cause her more stress. You should really reflect on your own actions and be more considerate of her. Just sign the agreement as an apology. You're getting married soon anyway, so does it really matter whose name the shares are in? I stared at the female assistant with a smirk playing on my lips. She grew uneasy under my gaze, but forced a smile. Mr. Blackwood, don't you think I'm right? The original owner of this body was truly a pathetic doormat. As the CEO and largest shareholder, he had only one assistant. Serafina, the VP, had 2, and both of them dared to walk all over him. It was painfully obvious how worthless he was in her eyes. He might have tolerated it for her sake, but I wouldn't. I beckoned the female assistant closer. She had no choice but to bow and lean in. I gently patted her cheek. So, things have gotten to the point where even one of Serafina's lapdogs dares to lecture me now? Is that it? The color drained from her face, a flicker of panic in her eyes. Mr. Blackwood, I overstepped. I spoke out of turn. Please, don't hold it against a junior assistant like me. The intern, Liu Jiang, was still clutching his reddened cheek, fresh tears welling in his eyes. Sarah, look at him. He just denied hitting me, but look at his attitude. Serafina's eyes were red with fury. Ethan Blackwood, that's enough. How long are you going to keep this up? Have I been too lenient with you? Sign the damn agreement. Or don't even think about me forgiving you. I let out a short, sharp laugh and ripped the share transfer agreement into pieces. Then, I swung my hand and slapped Serafina hard across the face. Serafina Vance, you're nothing but a plaything I picked up. Who the hell do you think you are to scream at me? Serafina was completely stunned. She stared at me, unable to believe that I would dare to hit her. My office had glass walls, and the blinds were up. The entire company could see what was happening. They stared in disbelief, their faces a collective mask of shock. The live commentary exploded. WTF? What is happening? How dare he? This isn't how the plot is supposed to go. Where's the share transfer? Director, get out here and explain yourself. Where's my tragic romance? Is this how it's supposed to be tragic? If the male lead doesn't lose everything, how will he jump? How will the female lead have her epiphany? Ethan, get on your knees and beg for forgiveness now. You're only pushing her further away, you idiot. He actually hit the female lead? How could he? Isn't he afraid she'll stop loving him? This is insane. Everything's gone insane. Rage burned in Serafina's eyes. Ethan Blackwood, are you crazy? You actually hit me? She was incandescent with fury, but when her eyes met my cold, indifferent gaze, a sliver of fear pierced through her anger. The Ethan who had always catered to her every whim. Why had he suddenly changed so drastically? A strange, unsettling feeling began to grow within her. She forcibly suppressed her unease and resorted to her usual tactic. Ethan, you will kneel and apologize to me. Otherwise, I will never forgive you. Apologize to your mother. I pulled you up from a junior position to vice president, and you repay me by keeping a boy toy. I snarled. And now you want me to sign my company over to you? Where's your shame? I slapped her again, this time on the other cheek. The force was greater, sending her stumbling to the ground. One side of her face immediately began to swell. Her expression darkened, her eyes filled with malice. Enough. Ethan, there is nothing going on between Leo and me. How dare you slander me? I'm giving you one last chance. Kneel and apologize, or this time, there will be no forgiveness. I laughed, truly amused by her audacity, and delivered 2 more sharp slaps. You bought him matching watches, you gave him $1 million car, and you're telling me nothing's going on? Do you think I'm a damn fool? The script is ruined. Ethan, wake up. Holy crap. What is this power move? My devoted male lead. Did the screenwriter eat something bad? Ethan, kneel and beg her, or she's going to turn her love into hate. Violence. This is too violent. The female lead was deceived too. What did she do wrong? This feels like a male-oriented revenge fantasy. Those slaps were so crisp, so satisfying. The female assistant stood frozen to the side, her eyes wide with terror. Serafina's own gaze faltered, her confidence visibly shrinking. I was just rewarding him for his hard work. She stammered. Are you really going to make such a big deal over something so small? Are you even a man? Damn it, the bitch was still trying to lie her way out of it. My temper snapped. Leo, recovering from his shock, saw that I was about to strike again and quickly moved to stand in front of Serafina. And Mr. Blackwood, please don't blame Sarah, it's all my fault. My relationship with her is purely professional. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I looked down at him. Leo, you're ambitious, and you're a little clever. A flash of contempt crossed Leo's eyes. Pathetic before, and now a violent brute? He didn't respect either version of me. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Blackwood. Of course, my cleverness is nothing compared to yours. Too bad for you. You pissed off the one person you never should have. There's nothing I hate more than a scheming pretty boy like you. A sneer curled my lip. I lashed out with a vicious kick to his stomach. The force of the blow sent a wave of agony through him, forcing him to his knees. My gaze was one of pure, dismissive contempt. But you're also a fool, so desperate to climb the ladder. Let's see if you can bear the cost. Leo's face contorted in pain, but what stung more was my disdain. He gritted his teeth and forced himself back to his feet, his eyes reverting to that pitiful, teary-eyed look. Mr. Blackwood, I know you hate me. If you're not satisfied, you can keep hitting me. Just please, don't blame Sarah anymore. He was smug inside. A beating today would earn him a deeper place in Serafina's heart. It was worth it. Is that so? Since you asked for it yourself, I won't be polite. I grinned savagely, grabbing a fistful of his hair and delivering 3 hard slaps to his delicate, pretty face. His cheeks swelled instantly, but his eyes held a crazed glint as he taunted. Mr. Blackwood, I hope you're satisfied now. We're just getting started. I kicked him to the ground and followed up with several more brutal stomps. The entire office staff watched, stunned. The old me had been completely dominated by Vice President Vance. Even though I was the boss, everyone looked down on me. But now, my explosive rage sent a chill through every single one of them. Serafina finally panicked. "Stop," she screamed. Hearing her voice, Leo felt a surge of triumph. Even as tears of pain streamed down his face. The beating wasn't in vain, but his victory was short-lived. I didn't stop. The kicks kept coming, hard and relentless. His body trembled with pain. Real fear finally set in. "Sarah, help me." Serafina couldn't hide the pain in her eyes as she looked at the injured Leo. She rushed over to pull me back. "Ethan, that's enough. Leo is a kind person. How could you do this to him? You've gone too far." "Kind? Serafina, don't tell me you can't see this scheming bastard's ambition? He knew we were getting married, yet he stuck to you day and night. Is that what you call kind? And this idea to have me sign over my shares, that was his idea, wasn't it?" With nothing left to lose, Serafina dropped the act and screamed at me. "So what if it was? Not only did you refuse, but you dare to hit us? Leo was right. You just don't love me enough." I knew then that she was a lost cause. Adhering to the principle of less talk, more action, I slapped her again. "Love you? You were about to cheat on me, and you still want my love." Being hit repeatedly in front of the entire company finally made her snap. "Ethan Blackwood," she shrieked, her fists clenched and her body trembling. "You will get on your knees and apologize to me right now, or I'm calling the police. I know you're just jealous and trying to get my attention, but there's a limit. If you don't kneel, I'll have no choice but to send you to jail for assault." She stared at me, searching my face for any sign of fear. There was none. I calmly sat down in my office chair and watched her with amusement. "Serafina, feel free to call the police. But before you do, let's settle our accounts. In your 2 years as VP, you've embezzled close to $8 million from the company. If I were to sue you, how many years do you think you'd get?" The commentary kept scrolling. "He's lost it. Ethan has definitely lost his mind. Not only does he hit people, he's counting pennies. This protagonist is such a turn-off. OMG, so what if she used a little of your money? Shouldn't men make money for women to spend? He's just trying to get her attention in a twisted way. Ugh, men. He looks calm, but he's panicking inside. I bet he kneels and apologizes in the next second. Haha, is this a major plot rewrite? Why do I find this new protagonist kinda hot?" I ignored the comments. The original protagonist had given Serafina a black card, but she had refused it, claiming she wanted to earn her own money. He was so moved by this that his devotion became absolute. Having secured his trust, she grew bolder, repeatedly embezzling company funds for her own use. The original protagonist later covered all her debts. What a hypocrite. My words made Serafina's face turn deathly pale. You're lying," she stammered, forcing the words out. "That never happened. You're slandering me." Her eyes darted around, unable to meet mine, as beads of sweat formed on her forehead. I sneered. "Am I lying? We can find out easily enough. Should I call the finance department up here?" Now she was truly panicked, her face growing even paler. "Ethan, I'm your fiancé. So what if I use some of your money? Do you have to be so stingy?" I looked at her as if she were an idiot. "Yeah, while I may be the largest shareholder of Blackwood Corp, I'm not the only one. Your embezzlement harms the interests of the entire group. Do you really think that's a small thing? It's just $8 million. I'll pay you back, okay?" Right. If she had $8 million, she wouldn't have needed to embezzle in the first place. Fine. And how does Miss Vance intend to pay? Serafina was stunned. She couldn't believe I was giving her absolutely no way out. "I won't charge you interest. We'll count it towards your medical bills," I said coolly. "Pay up, Miss Vance. After all your tough talk, don't tell me you can't produce the money." She couldn't understand how things had turned from her forcing me to sign over shares to her owing the company millions. She was cornered, but still defiant. I don't have it on me. Can I pay you later?" A few people in the office who disliked her, and Leo snickered. Serafina's face burned with humiliation. She walked over to Leo and took the watch and car keys from him. He looked reluctant, but she whispered something in his ear, and he finally relented. I could guess what she said. She probably told him I was just throwing a tantrum because they were too close and had pushed me too hard with the agreement. Once she calmed me down and flattered me a bit, I'd go back to being her loyal simp. It was just another empty promise to a naive student fresh out of college, and he bought it. Sure enough, Serafina placed the items on my desk. She put on a sultry voice. Ethan, I know you're just jealous. This watch and car are worth about $3 million. I'll pay back the rest slowly, okay? Don't be mad anymore. I'll make it up to you tonight. She tried to grab Leo and make a run for it, but my sharp voice stopped her. Stay. She turned back with a forced smile. I looked at her, my expression unreadable, then suddenly broke into a grin. You know, you almost made me forget. I'm officially notifying you. You're fired. And you are no longer my fiancé. You are not to set foot in my house ever again. Serafina was dumbfounded, her face a storm of suppressed rage. Her expression shifted several times, but she didn't dare explode. Ethan, stop messing around. You know I love you, and you can't live without me. Don't say things you don't mean. The commotion had brought security guards to the office door. I motioned for the captain to enter. From now on, I said, my voice ice. If she ever sets foot in this company again, you can pack your bags and get out. Yes, Mr. Blackwood. Serafina finally erupted, her face crimson. Ethan Blackwood, have you had enough? I've already backed down. What more do you want? What do I want? I want you to have nothing. A woman as toxic as her, who enjoyed the life and status I gave her while flaunting her boy toy and scheming to take my company. She deserved to lose everything. You still owe $5 million. Pay up, I said flatly. Clear the debt, and you can get lost. Otherwise, I can sue you at any time. Her chest heaved with fury. Ethan, you're rich. Do you really need this $5 million? Don't think you're so great just because you have some money. You've had your tantrum. Now stop pushing my patience. I was done talking. I had her sign an IOU, giving her 1 month to repay the debt. After she signed, I had security throw the two of them, and that sycophantic female assistant, out like trash. After they were gone, the commentary went wild again. Damn, that's cold. So much for the most devoted man in the book. I want a refund. He's playing with fire. This whole hard-to-get routine is going to backfire spectacularly. I bet his heart is bleeding. Even if he's acting tough, he's shattered inside. He actually threw them out. Holy cow. Legend. Haha, that's exactly how you treat a bitch and a user. From doormat to dominant CEO. Did I walk into the wrong theater? But damn, that was satisfying. Especially those slaps. Badass. Go, Mr. Blackwood. She and Leo got into the limited edition Bentley convertible. It was a recent purchase of mine, but she liked it, so I had let her drive it. Sarah, this car is so cool. Can I drive it? Leo asked. Of course. What's mine is yours. You can drive it whenever you want. They swapped seats immediately. Sarah, I have something to take care of at the university. Can we go there first? He had nothing important to do. He just wanted to show off the multi-million-dollar supercar on campus. Leo was only a senior intern. Many of his classmates were busy studying for grad school entrance exams. Meanwhile, he had been flooding his social media with pictures of luxury cars, designer watches, and fine dining, making them all sick with envy. When he rolled onto campus in the limited edition Bentley, it caused an uproar. Holy shit, isn't that Leo Jiang? A classmate who used to mock him for his rural background dropped his textbook. My God, that's a multi-million-dollar limited edition. Where did he get the money? Haven't you seen his posts? I heard he found a rich girlfriend. For real? Who needs grad school then? A rich girlfriend is the real prize. Leo, you're the man. Dude's a legend. Listen to that engine. Can you take us for a spin? Wait, why are they both bruised? You don't get it. The rich play rough. If I had a girlfriend that hot and rich, she could beat me all day. As if to spite me, the two were exceptionally high profile. Leo wrapped an arm around Serafina's slender waist, his eyes gleaming with triumph. Serafina frowned slightly, but didn't push him away. The students were amazed that this rich girlfriend was as beautiful as a movie star. A crowd began to gather, and Leo, basking in the attention, tightened his grip on her. Serafina played along, leaning against him like a delicate bird. They were the picture of an enviable couple. Of course, I was watching their every move. The police arrived shortly after. You too, come with us to the station. You've been reported for grand theft auto in broad daylight. The owner has filed a complaint. They were both dumbstruck. You must have made a mistake. Serafina shouted indignantly. This car belongs to my fiancé. How can it be theft if it's my fiancé's car? The watching students gasped. Leo's face turned ugly. Her fiancé's car? So she's engaged and still keeping a boy toy? What a slut. I knew it. How could a poor loser like Leo land a rich girl? He's a mistress, driving someone else's car to show off. These two have no shame. They never expected to be publicly humiliated like this. Unsurprisingly, they were taken away by the police for questioning. The live commentary went into a frenzy. Why shit. He actually called the cops on them. It's over, it's over. The female lead is going to hate him for life now. It's just a car. Was it necessary to call the police? Devoted protagonist just turned into a total jerk. Am I the only one who thinks the female lead is disgusting for wanting to have her cake and eat it too? The doormat has finally woken up. I'm here for it. By the time they were released from the police station, it was the next day. Serafina called me. I answered. Her furious voice erupted from the speaker. Ethan Blackwood. Leo is just a kid. So he showed off in your car, so what? Do you really have to blow it out of proportion and call the police? There's nothing going on. Between us, I was just looking out for him. Your jealousy is getting out of hand. You're the CEO of a major company. Can't you be a little more magnanimous? I'm telling you, there's a limit to playing hard to get. I couldn't be bothered to argue. Cut the crap, Serafina. You have 1 month for that $5 million. Get the money. I could hear her ragged breathing on the other end. She was seething. Ethan Blackwood, she roared. Fine. You simped for me for years. I don't believe you can just stop loving me like that. You're just trying to force me to bow down to you. But do you really think I'll fall for it? I'm telling you, in 1 month, I'm not marrying you. I'm marrying Leo. Let's see if you don't come crawling back and begging me then. She slammed the phone down. This really was a female-oriented novel. After everything that had happened, she still thought I was joking? A tainted piece of trash acting. Like she's some priceless treasure. Years of the original protagonist's simping had given her a truly delusional level of self-confidence. The commentary immediately updated. It's over. He's really screwed up this time. He needs to start groveling now. The chase is on. I'm so stressed. It's going to be too late. OMG, OMG. Is the plot auto-correcting? 1 month later. Female lead gets married. Male lead is heartbroken. Jumps to his death. Female lead goes dark side. It's finally happening. Doesn't anyone else think Ethan's actions are completely normal now? I ignored them. My assistant came in to report. Mr. Blackwood, should we stop paying for Serafina's mother's medical bills? Not yet. Stop them in a month. Serafina's mother was critically ill and depended on expensive imported medicine to live. Without the payments, she wouldn't last long. 1 more month of fees would be my wedding gift to my dear ex-fiancé. 1 month later. The wedding of Serafina Vance and Leo Jiang was a grand affair, held at the 5-star Skylark Hotel. Serafina had sold off some of the expensive luxury goods the original protagonist had bought her, which was more than enough to fund a lavish ceremony. The hotel happened to be owned by a close friend of mine. I had already secured access to the banquet hall's surveillance feed. There was no way I was going to miss this show. The camera feed was crystal clear. I could even hear their conversations perfectly. The hall was packed. Relatives from both the Vance and Jiang families were present. Most of Leo's family came from the countryside. Hearing that he was marrying the VP of a major corporation, their faces were plastered with sycophantic smiles, happier than if it were their own wedding. The hall was a boisterous mess. In contrast, Serafina's relatives looked grim. While not wealthy, they were city folk and looked down on the country relatives with disdain, finding them uncouth. They had expected her to marry the CEO of Blackwood Corp., not some low-class replacement. But Serafina's only immediate family was her sick mother and a good-for-nothing brother, neither of whom had any control over her. After their attempts to reason with her failed, they fell silent. As soon as Leo and Serafina appeared, they were swarmed by his relatives. Leo's mother grabbed Serafina's hand, beaming. Oh, our Leo has found such a wonderful wife. The vice president of a big company. Serafina, dear, Leo told us that after you get married, you're going to buy him a luxury car and a big villa. Is that true? Serafina's smile faltered. She had said those things, but only casually. Where was she going to get the money for a car and a villa now? Besides, she had no intention of actually marrying Leo. This was all just a ploy to provoke me. She refused to believe that after years of unwavering devotion, I could just give up on her. She was certain I would come and crash the wedding. She had posted all the details on her social media, confident I would see it and be unable to bear it. But for now, she had to keep up appearances. She quickly forced a smile. Of course, after Leo and I are married, we'll be family. A car and a villa are a must. We'll get a big one and move your whole family into the city. Leo was ecstatic. He had prompted his mother to ask this publicly to prevent Serafina from backing out later. He assumed that after years with me, even if she was no longer a VP, she must have a fortune saved up. He was too young and naive. While she had gotten a lot from the original protagonist over the years, her useless brother had gambled it all away. Otherwise, why would she have resorted to embezzlement? Leo's mother squeezed Serafina's hand even tighter, her grin stretching from ear to ear. Wonderful, wonderful. Serafina is so filial. For our Leo to marry a wife like you, it must be the result of 8 lifetimes of good karma. His relatives quickly chimed in. I always said so. I've watched Leo grow up, and I knew he'd be successful. Look at him now. Not only did he get into a good university, but he also found such a beautiful and rich wife. The Jiang family is so lucky. You can just sit back and enjoy life now. That's right. With a VP for a wife, he'll be driving fancy cars and living in a mansion. Everyone will have to respect him. Of all the kids in our family, our Leo is the most promising. If only Leo were my son, Leo's mother puffed up with pride. My Leo has always been outstanding. Good character, faithful. He's more than a match for Serafina. The ceremony began. Holy crap. It's starting. The drama is about to unfold. What's with Ethan? He's still at home, watching on a monitor? If he doesn't leave now, he'll be late for his own suicide. Place your bets. Will Ethan show up or not? I've got 5 cents on it. Go, Ethan, go. If you don't jump, how can the female lead have her dark transformation? It's over. Ethan's devoted persona is about to collapse. But it seems like Ethan doesn't care at all. Can someone explain to me why a multi-billionaire CEO has to jump off a building just to make a woman feel regret? This Ethan is the truly clear-headed one. Isn't it better to stay away from toxic people? I ignored the commentary and calmly watched the monitor. Serafina, however, was distracted, repeatedly glancing toward the entrance of the hall. Damn it, why isn't Ethan here yet? Am I really going to have to marry Leo? Leo is young, but he can't give me the life I want. Do you, the bride, take Mr. Leo Jiang to be your lawfully wedded husband? The officiant's voice broke through her thoughts. Serafina stammered, unable to form a complete sentence. The guests exchanged confused glances. Leo's face turned dark. I object. At that moment, a pregnant woman burst through the doors. It was Leo's childhood sweetheart, Mia. She stood at the entrance, cradling her large belly, tears streaming down her face. Her appearance sent a shockwave through the room. All eyes turned to her. Leo's face went completely white. Leo, you promised you would be responsible for me. Mia sobbed, her voice echoing in the silent hall. I'm pregnant now, but you're marrying someone else. How could you be so heartless? Serafina was thunderstruck. She never imagined that instead of Ethan, she'd be greeted by this scene. Looking at the young girl's pregnant belly, the room started to spin. It was obvious to everyone that in this love triangle, she, Serafina Vance, was the other woman. She was furious. She glared at Leo and roared, Leo, what the hell is going on? You better have a good explanation. Leo was panicked, sweat beading on his forehead. Sarah, listen to me. Mia and I. It was just a mistake. Smack. Serafina slapped him hard across the face, her eyes blazing. Leo, you have disappointed me more than I can say. Leo's mother rushed forward, pointing a finger at Mia's nose and screeching. You shameless hussy. Who let you in here to ruin my son's wedding? Who knows whose baby that is? Don't you dare try to pin it on our Leo. Auntie, how can you say that? Mia cried, heartbroken. Leo and I grew up together. We were supposed to be together. If it wasn't for this woman. You're just a country girl. What can you give my son? Only a rich woman like Serafina is worthy of my precious boy. The guests erupted in a chorus of murmurs and gasps. The relatives who had been fawning over the Jiangs now looked at them with utter contempt. Serafina's brother exploded. He grabbed Leo and started punching him. You son of a bitch. My sister was supposed to marry Mr. Blackwood. It's all your fault, you goddamn boy toy. I'm going to kill you today. The wedding descended into chaos. Serafina finally realized what a monumental fool she had been. I hadn't shown up at all. A true panic finally set in. She hitched up her wedding dress and ran stumbling from the hall. She had just reached the entrance when she was met by 2 people in suits. Miss Vance, this is a court summons. As the defendant in this case, you are required to appear in court on the date and time specified. HLY shit. The ultimate plot twist. Instead of the male lead's dead body, the female lead gets a court summons. The tragic romance just turned into a male-led revenge fantasy. This is an epic move. Look at her face. It's green. I'm dying. Now this is what I call playing with fire and getting burned. Huh. You guys don't get it. This isn't love. He's a total jerk. A loud buzzing filled Serafina's head, as if she'd been struck by a hammer. No, this can't be happening. How? She stood frozen, unable to believe I would actually sue her. In that moment, she finally understood. I wasn't joking. I had completely given up on her and was now planning to send her to prison. Otherwise, why would the court find her here, with no prior warning, no phone call? A new kind of terror, cold and venomous, coiled around her heart. She was drowning in regret. She frantically hailed a taxi and sped toward my villa. It was, of course, my doing that the court officers found her at the hotel. I had even arranged for bodyguards to ensure Mia arrived on time, just in case my transmigration had altered the timeline. Half an hour later, my butler knocked on the study door. Sir, Miss Vance has arrived. She is kneeling outside the front gate. I know. I picked up a bottle of red wine and walked slowly to the main gate. The arrogant woman who had knelt there was gone, replaced by a pathetic, pleading creature. Well, if it isn't the esteemed Miss Vance. On your happy day, what brings you here? Serafina flinched, then crawled toward me, grabbing at the hem of my trousers. Ethan, I was wrong. Please, forgive me, okay? I never planned to marry Leo. It was all just to make you jealous. Ethan, believe me, nothing happened between Leo and me. I was wrong. I'll never do it again. Please, give me one more chance. I'll do whatever you say from now on. Whoa, the genre has officially flipped from female-led to male-led. The female lead is kneeling. Ethan is officially a badass. This is a true dominant CEO. So much better than a doormat. I'm a fan. This is so satisfying. I opened the bottle and began to pour the red wine over her head. Her face contorted, but she didn't dare move. The wine trickled down from her elaborate hairdo, staining her white wedding dress a deep, bloody red. She looked up at me, her eyelashes heavy, with crimson droplets, looking exactly as she had 2 years ago when her mother fell ill. She had looked up at the original protagonist with that same expression, crying, Ethan, my mother is so sick, I don't know what to do. Please help me. And now, 2 years later, she was trying to force him to sign away his company, leaving him with nothing while she married another man. Nothing happened. I chuckled, then smashed the wine bottle on the marble steps beside her. The sharp crack made her flinch. Serafina, do you think I'm a fool? Are you still feeding me lies at a time like this? I looked down at her, my eyes filled with disgust. Who the hell do you think you are? You are an ungrateful, hypocritical, disgusting, and vicious woman, and you still have the nerve to come here and lie to my face. She was panicked but clung to my trousers. Ethan, I'm not lying, I swear. Leo and I are innocent. Please, just give me one more chance. It was my fault. I didn't maintain proper boundaries. I'll never contact him again, okay? You know I only love you, Ethan. Believe me. I had lost all patience. I slapped her hard. Believe my ass. Why don't you take a look at these? I threw a stack of photos in her face. They were all pictures of her and Leo from the past month. Pictures of them hugging, kissing, entering, and leaving a hotel together. There were also screenshots of the taunting text messages Leo had sent me. Serafina, we broke up a long time ago. I don't care who you're with, I said coldly. But to come here and try to fool me again? Did you really think I wouldn't snap? Holy crap, she's a compulsive liar. This female lead is disgusting. Ethan's rage is justified. This is a real man. So damn cool. Damn, a woman this vile would have been put in a pig cage in ancient times. To everyone who called Ethan a simp before, I kneel in apology. This is a true revenge story. Mr. Blackwood, I was wrong. She just made a small mistake that any woman could make. What's the big deal? Shut up. Staring at the scattered photos and text messages, Serafina looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. Her mind went blank. The proof was irrefutable. And you still dare to say you love me? I sneered. You still dare to claim you're innocent? You make me sick. I know why you're here today. Don't worry, I won't be dropping the lawsuit. Your mother's medical payments will be stopped. How many years you get and how long she lives is up to fate now. Terror bleached her face. Her eyes filled with despair. She finally understood the depth of her foolishness. She knelt on the ground, tears streaming down her face, and began to kowtow, the sound of her forehead hitting the stone echoing with loud thuds. Ethan, you can't do this to me. Don't sue me. Don't stop the payments. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I'll do anything. Just please don't do this. Give me one more chance. A wicked smile played on my lips. The time was right. I squatted down and grabbed her chin, forcing her to look at me. Serafina, after all, I did love you once. I can give you a chance. But your and Leo's actions have displeased me. It's up to you to figure out how to make me happy. I let her go. As I turned to go back inside, I added one last thing. Serafina, you could have been Mrs. Blackwood. But now you're kneeling before me like a dog. Who do you have to thank for that? I watched the rage begin to smolder in her eyes. I knew someone was about to have a very bad day. When a woman turns vicious, she can be far more ruthless than any man. Without another glance, I went inside and slammed the door. The live commentary started scrolling again. Is the plot auto-correcting again? It feels like the female lead is about to have her dark transformation. Mr. Blackwood is a genius. He has a built-in plot repair function. Haha. It's happening. That scheming pretty boy is screwed. The climax is finally here. The next time I saw Leo, it was in a derelict, abandoned building. It seemed Serafina had sold off the last of her luxury goods to hire some people to kidnap him. As the former VP of my company, it wasn't surprising she had connections to some unsavory characters. I brought extra bodyguards, just in case. In just a few days, Leo had been tortured to within an inch of his life. He was covered in wounds, barely conscious. The moment he saw me, his eyes filled with terror. He scrambled to his knees and began banging his head on the concrete floor. Mr. Blackwood, I was wrong. Please, let me go. I'll never do it again. Please. Before I could speak, Serafina, holding a thick wooden club, swung it down with all her might on Leo's right leg. Crack. His leg twisted into an unnatural shape, a mess of blood and mangled flesh. Leo let out a piercing shriek of agony. Serafina looked at me, and seeing my indifferent expression, she gritted her teeth and swung the club again, and again, and again, until all of his limbs were broken. Her eyes were wild with madness. Leo, this is all your fault, she screamed. If it wasn't for you, how could I have lost everything? You deserve to die. You deserve it. She was completely unhinged. I glanced at Leo's mangled body, blood pooling around him. Even if someone called an ambulance now, his chances were slim. I had lost the desire to play any longer. I gave a subtle wave to my bodyguards. Restrain her. Call the police. And give them the video we just recorded. I am a law-abiding citizen, after all. We can't let these dregs of society get away with their crimes. The bodyguards quickly pinned Serafina to the ground. She stared at me, her eyes bloodshot. Ethan Blackwood, you played me? This was your plan all along, wasn't it? You're going to rot in hell, Ethan. I turned and walked away, ignoring her. Her crazed screams followed me. Ethan Blackwood, you bastard. I'll haunt you even as a ghost. Ethan, I was wrong. Please, let me go. I'll never show my face to you again. Ethan. The live commentary had one last explosion. Haha, the female lead is broken. Her entire worldview has collapsed. Holy crap, it was all part of the male lead's plan. Mr. Blackwood single-handedly turned a tragic romance into a revenge fantasy. This script rewrite is legendary. God tier. I really don't understand the male fantasy mindset. Did it have to be like this? Shouldn't the ending be them reconciling and living happily ever after? Hell yes, this is a man story. This is a revenge fantasy. Mr. Blackwood is a legend. Ethan, my man. A true alpha, that was so damn satisfying. It's over, time for the confetti. This ending is so much better than that pathetic doormat plot. Finally, a satisfying conclusion. To my surprise, Leo somehow survived. But with all 4 limbs shattered, he was permanently disabled, destined to spend the rest of his life in a bed. Serafina was sentenced to life in prison. Her nightmare had only just begun. The original protagonist was a complete idiot. A man worth billions. He could have any woman he wanted. Why did he have to get hung up on feelings? In the days that followed, whenever I was in a bad mood, I would go to the prison for a visit. Every time Serafina saw me, she would fly into a rage. And strangely, my mood would instantly improve. It was truly incredible. The end.